Hello and welcome to Crux Investor. We spoke earlier today to Gary Thompson, CEO of Brixton Metals. We talked to him about how he has advanced the company since we last spoke a few months ago. If you want our opinion and thoughts on that conversation and of course the company itself, you can get that at cruxinvestor.com/club. In there you can also find company reports. You can find commentary from market experts from around the world. There's training courses. There's also summaries of other interviews that we have carried out. And there's a thriving community of investors sharing their thoughts and ideas with each other in a safe environment. And if you want to go and have a look, there's a 7-day free trial. And of course, we'd love your feedback and opinions too. So do give us a like, leave your thoughts below. And if you want to see some of the topics we discussed with Gary today, take a look in the description. Gary, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, thank you. How about yourself?
Yeah, not bad. Good to see you. We haven't spoken in a while. You've been a busy boy in this quite exciting market.
Yeah, it's been good. Very, very fun. Lots on the go. Lots happening. We're scrambling around.
Yeah, good. And I know you're serious because you're wearing a tie this time. Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's kick off with that 1-minute overview of the projects, and then we'll pick it up from there.
Sure. Well, Brixton has actually 4 wholly owned assets. Two of our largest projects in Northwest British Columbia, Atlin, which is a gold project, and Thorn, which is a copper, gold, silver project. And then we have a silver, gold, copper project in Montana. And then we have a couple of high-grade fast-producing mines in Ontario called Langus and Hudson Bay.
Right. Okay, brilliant. Thanks very much. Saw the press release this morning. Want to talk to you about that in a second. I also know that you've raised a bit of money recently, so you kind of got cash to see you through for the year. But I want to get into the kind of big picture for people maybe new to this, and maybe answer some of the questions being asked of us before we did this interview. Because you're a small company. Your share price has doubled since we last spoke to you, effectively. You've gone, what are you now? Like you're 56, 57 million market cap. Nice, okay? But it's been a really positive gold environment. I think the criticism of you was that you had too many moving parts, right? You have 4 projects for a small company, limited capex. So I want to talk to you about what your focus is, okay? So again, just to remind people, when I spoke last, you told me that you were going to focus on Hog Heaven, then do a little bit at Thorn, and then park up the other 2 for now. Have things changed?
Well, look, I guess the way I look at these things is, we acquired assets for a couple of reasons: for diversification on jurisdiction, and for commodity risk for the projects. I think, yeah, we do get that criticism. Where's your focus? But look, we acquired these things at, I'd say, a very low, reasonably low cost, acquisition cost at the bottom of the market. So now we're starting to see the market wake up and give us a bit of love, generally speaking. And I think the way to look at this is, well, you've got these assets for a low cost. When the market improves, which we're starting to see, we anticipate to monetize these assets for the benefit of shareholders. So it is, challenging for a small company to work multiple projects. And, we have to allocate capital in the best way that we feel can generate the best value. Now, when last time we spoke, we were pretty excited about Hog Heaven, and we still are. Unfortunately, the market didn't really reward us for some spectacular drill results. So basically, we looked at what can we do that's going to generate some exciting results for us, and we basically decided to focus more on Thorn project in the Golden Triangle this year. And so we've been busy there. We're pushing about 6,000 meters of drilling. That project just continues to show promise. It's a massive property that's going to take some time to sort out, but there's we had a lot of guys doing regional work this year, so we've taken a bit of a step back, looking at other targets on the property. So while we're drilling some of the known, more advanced stage targets, we're looking at, can we generate some exciting new targets on the property? And I think the short answer is yes. We're highlighting some really good gold, copper targets that haven't even been drill tested yet. So think there's lots of work to do there, but it's a massive property, 2,600 square kilometers. It's going to keep us busy for some time, and so I think we're getting more and more excited about that opportunity. The challenge is we can work there from May till about now, winding down here. So once you get into October, starting to get into some sort of more winter conditions. So it's a bit of a seasonality issue there, and that's the reason that we actually acquired the Langus mine project in the first place, was because we had this seasonality issue in Northwest BC, like a lot of companies do operating there. So the Langus project in Ontario allows us to effectively drill all year round, and more importantly, to drill in our off season from our BC project. We can generate good news flow and good results over the winter months.
Okay, but let me come back to Hog Haven, because it feels like the tail wagging the dog here. So you went down there and you think, well, you said to me, that's going to be our key focus. That's where we're going to get the best results, because a lot of drilling had gone on there already, a lot of infill drilling and so forth. So you had a lot of data there. You wanted to go and do some more. You did it. The market was like, we don't care. I mean, did you make the right call, or is the market wrong?
I think the market is wrong. I think, generally speaking, I think, Montana is, we'll say, not known for maybe the most favorable mining jurisdiction. And I think that is over. It's not that you can't build mines there. And, we get that in BC too, like, oh, you can't build a mine in BC. That's not the case. There's mines being built. And so it's got some overtones of maybe, can't get it done sort of thinking. But I think it's a missed opportunity for investors, and I think we're just going to have to keep at it to basically daylight that value, and I think it will come. And we do believe that there's a mine to build there at Hog Haven. It's just going to take some more work and perseverance to daylight that value.
Well, if you can't do it, you talked in the past to me about finding JV partners. Why don't you offload it?
Well, we are in discussions. In fact, we're open to joint ventures on any one of these projects. We're not hung up on, we have to develop them. Thorn is a kind of project, it's so big that, it's a classic major scale project. So we are looking for partners on all these projects.
But talk to me about Hog Haven. We'll come on to Thorn. Talk to me about Hog Haven. How do you resolve this issue? Because if the market hasn't given you credit once, it's not going to suddenly change its mind, is it? So isn't the best solution for you to kind of close down one of these conversations that you're having with potential JV partners and at least monetize it somehow?
Well, sure. I mean, but that's an exercise that you have to go through, and we've had lots of people looking at it and going for it. So absolutely, we definitely are working along those lines.
Okay. When can we expect some news on that?
Well, I mean, as soon as it's a material news, then it will be known to the market.
Right. Okay. But right now, you think market's giving you no value on that?
I would say the market's not giving us any value for the Hog Haven project, because if you look at when we acquired it, we got no value. We demonstrated good, solid results. We didn't receive any value on it. So, in my view, there's not much value being attributed to it.
How much have you spent on it?
We're about $3 million into it.
Okay. Well, let's come on to Thorn then.
So again, look back at what we paid for the asset. We paid $1 million in stock for the project. So that has actually a lot of work done on it, and pretty considerable, non-compliant resources, but pretty considerable ounces in the ground there.
Okay, so actually, just remind people, so non-compliant resource of what? What are we looking at?
The non-compliant resource, based on the feasibility done, was 47 million ounces of silver and about 250,000 ounces of gold.
Right, but do you know anything more around the economics of that? Because there's quite a bit of data.
Well, that was, keep in mind that feasibility was done in 88, 89, and then the price of gold and silver. I think I think it was 400 gold and $6 silver were the economic numbers at the time, and they had actually at that point green lighted, permitted to build the mine. Of course, the 1990 hit and the price of gold and silver collapsed, and it pretty much killed the economics at that time.
Why did you drill again?
You mean today? Why aren't we drilling right now?
No. As I understand it, that you went and did some additional drilling down there.
Yes.
Why?
So we're under a permit. We can drill another 5,000 feet, which is depending on how deep we go. So there's an opportunity potentially to drill this fall, and that's something that we're looking at. Should we go back there?
Okay, so let's just move on to Thorn. So you didn't think you'd be spending too much time there. It sounds like you decided that it might make sense to spend a bit more time and money down on Thorn. So what's been happening down there?
Correct. Yeah. So we've had a drill turning for several months now. We're pushing about 6,000 meters. We really drilled two advanced targets. One is called the Outlaw Gold Zone, which is a 4-kilometer gold anomaly. And actually, on the western part of that anomaly, we identified some very high grade gold samples earlier on this year, and so that's kind of a new target area for us. So we drilled about 16 holes on the Outlaw target. It's a big sediment-hosted gold zone. And then now we're down into the Camp Creek area, drilling some deep porphyry targets. So we'll have probably another 2 holes, deep holes there for this copper porphyry target. And we have whole and geophysical works. I think we're 6,000 samples that we've collected this year.
Right. Okay. That's quite a big property. You've had it for a long time. Again, you talked to me about trying to find JV partners for that, like someone with deeper pockets than you. Where are you in that process?
Well, I think once we get the results out this year, we're going to circle back to the various parties that have expressed interest and just continue that dialogue.
Right. Okay. Okay, I guess you want to talk about Langus because that's what today's results focused on. So it was a project that you didn't think you'd be spending any time on. So why have you changed tack and started looking at that or spending time, money, and effort on that?
Well, no, I wouldn't say we didn't think we'd spend time on. It's always been a project that the reason we acquired the asset was to give us some off-season work opportunity, given the seasonality issue that we're having at Thorn. Langus is a project that we can work all winter. So what we did is earlier on this year, we actually generated some really good drill results around the shaft number 3. And this was an old mine that Agnico operated up until 89. It produced over 10 million ounces of silver at 25 ounces per ton. So we wanted to see if we could generate some good results, see if we could find some additional silver mineralization that wasn't exploited. And so what we did is from the drilling that we had done over the last few years, and those veins do project to surface, and we're able to pull visible silver mineralization at surface. So we did some trenching, and those results were put out today. We trenched about 0.4 of a meter of over 3 kilos of silver and about 10% cobalt. And then there was a select grab sample pulled out of that. There was some spectacular native silver that ran over 6 kilos of silver and about 17% cobalt. So the plan is to get back into here with some fairly tight space drilling in and around shaft number 3 and shaft number 6, where it looks like most of the mineralization exists, and see if we can get to a compliant resource on this project.
Okay.
Now we're not expecting big ounces, but we're expecting high margin ounces, like in that sort of north of 500 grams, a kilo, multi-kilo. That's the target.
Okay. Can you talk to me about the structure of the company, please? Because you've been an explorer, you've been exploring for a long time. In terms of the personnel here, I think is your VP of exploration left you earlier this year?
Yeah.
Is that because you're changing the structure of your business, or was that to do with something else?
I think that's just to do with personal reasons. The company is growing, so we are having some changes internally in personnel. But with any company, as you grow, that's just the way it goes. But so we're improving on our talents. We've added some board talents. We're able to raise some money this year. So I think we're moving forward, and we're excited with what the fall is going to bring us. We've got a lot of results pending on our Thorn project, and we're going to be generating results all winter at Langus.
No, I get that, but as companies move forward, like I said, you've had some nice results down at Langus recently. Okay, so that's nice. You're going to attract a bit of attention here, but likewise, the structure of the board is going to be really important to you going forward, having been sort of explorers, to go and talk to the market, properly, talk to the market efficiently about what it is that you're trying to build here. Because you've got 4 projects, any of which you told me you would JV out. So I'm trying to understand the type of business I'd be investing into. So how would you describe yourself? And and what are these board additions that you've brought on to help you with that?
Yeah, so I would describe us as an exploration development company. Would we like to get into some cash flow in an operation? Absolutely. But that's where some of our skills, that we're bringing into the board. If you look at Randall, he's a mine builder. Rita has been involved in finance and financing mine developments. So I think as we grow as a company, we're going to transition into perhaps more development opportunities, and that's where the strategic partners come in. The opportunities where we could sell one of these things. At the end of the day, we're looking to generate shareholder value, however we can get there.
Okay, are you the guy to lead the company?
Absolutely.
Okay, Gary, great to catch up with you. Let us know how you get on. Pick up the phone when you get some news with the drill results later this year, and we'll be delighted to talk to you.
Well, thanks for your time. I appreciate it, and we'll keep in touch. Hopefully we'll circle back when we've got some news to talk about.
Great. Thanks, Gary. See you soon.